What if I told you that right now, without you even thinking about it, two invisible forces inside your body are fighting for control? One wants you ready to run, to survive, to react in milliseconds. The other wants you calm, digesting lunch, conserving energy, and healing. This is the story of the autonomic nervous system, the silent commander of your body. Imagine it's late at night. You're walking down a quiet street. Suddenly you hear footsteps behind you. Your heart starts pounding. Your breathing becomes faster. Your pupils widen. Blood rushes to your muscles. You didn't decide to do any of that. You didn't vote on it. You didn't even think about it. That was your sympathetic nervous system taking control. The autonomic nervous system, or ANS, is part of your peripheral nervous system. While your brain and spinal cord make up the central nervous system, the ANS operates behind the scenes, regulating the organs you don't consciously control: your heart, blood vessels, lungs, glands, and digestive system. Unlike the somatic nervous system, which controls voluntary movement like lifting your hand, the ANS is automatic. It works 24/7, even while you sleep. Now let's go back to that dark street. The moment your brain senses danger, signals travel down from the spinal cord. But here's the twist. Unlike the somatic system, the ANS uses a two-neuron relay system. The first neuron, the preganglionic neuron, starts in the central nervous system and connects in a ganglion. Then a second neuron, the postganglionic neuron, carries the message to the target organ. In the sympathetic division, those preganglionic fibers are short and the postganglionic fibers are long. This design allows massive branching. One signal can spread widely. That's why fear doesn't just increase your heart rate. It also dilates your pupils, opens your airways, raises your blood pressure, mobilizes glucose, and redirects blood to your skeletal muscles. This is the famous fight or flight response. And there's an accomplice, the adrenal medulla. It acts like a modified sympathetic ganglion. When stimulated, it releases about 80% epinephrine and 20% norepinephrine directly into the bloodstream, amplifying the response throughout your body. Your body becomes a survival machine. But now let's change the scene. You made it home safely. You're sitting down to eat dinner. Your heart rate slows, your breathing normalizes, your digestive system activates, saliva increases, the stomach begins secreting acid, the intestines start moving. A different force has taken over. This is the parasympathetic nervous system. Instead of fight or flight, it's rest and digest. Anatomically, it's very different. The preganglionic fibers are long, traveling almost all the way to the target organ before synapsing. The postganglionic fibers are short. This creates precise localized control rather than widespread activation. The vagus nerve, cranial nerve X, does most of the work here. It carries about 90% of parasympathetic output to organs in the thorax and abdomen. Unlike the sympathetic system, the parasympathetic division doesn't discharge as a unit. It acts organ by organ. If it activated everything at once, the result would be chaotic, simultaneous urination, defecation, and excessive gland secretion. Instead, it carefully maintains homeostasis. Now here's something fascinating. Most organs receive dual innervation. Your heart, for example, gets signals from both systems. The sympathetic system increases heart rate. The parasympathetic system slows it down. Whichever predominates at a given moment determines your heart's behavior. It's like a biological tug of war. But how do these systems actually communicate? Through chemicals. When a nerve impulse reaches the end of a neuron, calcium enters the nerve terminal. Vesicles fuse with the membrane and release neurotransmitters into the synaptic cleft. If the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine, we call that neuron cholinergic. All preganglionic autonomic neurons release acetylcholine. Parasympathetic postganglionic neurons do too. If the neurotransmitter is norepinephrine, the neuron is adrenergic. Most sympathetic postganglionic neurons release norepinephrine. Meanwhile, epinephrine released from the adrenal medulla travels through the bloodstream to reinforce the signal. These chemicals bind to specific receptors on target cells. Some receptors are fast, like nicotinic receptors, which are cholinergic ligand-gated ion channels that immediately change ion flow. Others are slower but powerful, like cholinergic, muscarinic, and adrenergic receptors. These are G-protein coupled receptors. They activate second messenger systems like cAMP or the calcium phosphatidylinositol pathway, amplifying the signal inside the cell. So every heartbeat, every breath, every digestive movement is the result of microscopic chemical conversations. And there's one more player, the enteric nervous system, the brain of the gut. It can function independently, controlling gastrointestinal motility and secretion, but it's still influenced by both sympathetic and parasympathetic inputs. In the end, the autonomic nervous system is not just about stress or relaxation. It's about balance. It constantly receives sensory input, like blood pressure changes detected by baroreceptors, and adjusts output through reflex arcs. A drop in blood pressure increases sympathetic activity. A rise increases parasympathetic tone. You don't feel most of it, but it's always happening. Right now, as you watch this video, your sympathetic and parasympathetic systems are negotiating moment by moment to keep you alive. If you enjoyed this story of how your body controls itself behind the scenes, subscribe for more deep dives into pharmacology and physiology, where we turn complex systems into stories you'll never forget.